how do you shoot snow photos? You know, you want to stay warm. You want to make sure your camera works. You want to make sure that you can take photos of snow and snow landscapes, snowy landscapes, everything snow. We're just going to be talking about it in this video. So get ready, go get some popcorn if you didn't already. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. But yeah, let's get going. So number one tip is use your histogram. I've said this before, I will say it again. Use your histogram. Histogram is so useful, especially when you're out in snow. Your camera, if you have an LED or any type of digital camera has usually a histogram that you can use. So the histogram, basically one side is the dark half and then one side is the white half, and the histogram will skew one way, and that will show you if it's too bright. So if it's all the way to the side, that means it's too bright and you're gonna need to stop down a little bit. My recommendation is to always stop down the aperture first and leave the shutter speed where it's at, but lower down the aperture. That way you can actually get some detail in the snow and it's not like all this one blob of white. Unless you want it to look like that, then you can do the opposite of what I said. It's really artistic choice at that point. The next one is use a lens hood. Lens hoods are super helpful when you are outside in the snow, because you'll immediately have the sun coming down at you, and the sun, basically what the sun does is it gets on your camera and it creates a bunch of different refractments of the snow and your lens, and it just makes everything like sparkle too much. So when you use a lens hood, you remove any of that from the photo. The next tip is try and stay warm. Try your best to bring hand warmers. Hand warmers are super good. The packets, I love using those during winter. You can also bring gloves. They make gloves that are functional with your camera so that you can actually use your camera with gloves on. But sometimes that doesn't work, so just bring gloves and always put your gloves back on as well. Persist. The next tip is bring appropriate gear. So bringing appropriate gear might be something like boots. Don't bring in your like sneakers, your like basketball sneakers or your dunks. Leave those at home. Try and bring something that like you can actually get your feet in the snow and walk in the snow. If you're in deep snow, try thinking of bringing things like spikes. So if you're in one of the more, I don't know, northwestern states where there's a lot of snow, bring something with spikes so that you're not like wobbling back and forth, and you can actually take like a steady photo without, you know, having to always readjust your camera. All right, we're on to my favorite part. The part that I enjoyed the most when I was researching this is the top cameras that you want to get for snow photography or being outside in the winter. So number one, we have the Olympus OMD ETLX. So all the ones on this list are said to be weatherproofed and pretty heavy duty ones. So Canon EOS 1DX Mark. A 1DX Mark. It's just a Mark, yeah, and no other one. Fujifilm XT4, and the Panasonic K1 MK2. And I made a note there, great for strong winds. And so any of these cameras will be built for tundra. Not necessarily for tundra, but you can definitely have some more fun going outside with these, and you don't have to worry about your camera dying or, you know, your screen freezing up. And that is always important. You never want any of that to happen during the shoot. Now, because I'm a Canon user, I also made a list of the best Canon cameras for winter. So the best Canon for winter is the Canon 7D M2, and then it goes from the Canon 80D to the Canon EOS R to the Canon 6D Mark II. So all these cameras are going to be great for using in the winter. You might need to bring some extra batteries, and you might want to bring some extra batteries. A quick note is do not try and remove your camera in a snowstorm. You will get dust on your camera and it will be very bad. So go to a car, go to somewhere, but also be warned that there will be condensation in your camera once you go from hot to cold area. A quick trick to remove this is getting a plastic bag and putting your camera inside the plastic bag and then going indoors. That will reduce the tension between the warm air and the cold air. And that's how you don't get fungus on your camera and grow fungus on your camera. So those are, the last tip is use aperture priority or TV mode, shutter speed priority, shoot manual, and I used to manually change all my buttons in the winter. And in the winter it is very, very cold, and as soon as you take off your gloves, your whole hand is going to freeze. So I would recommend setting an aperture or TV mode, and setting like maybe 100 ISO or 200 ISO or something that is reliable, because when you switch from different position to different position in the snow, you can have drastic differences, and that is mainly because of the sun, where the sun is hitting. When you move from one direction to the other, it will be extremely different. Snow is just one of those things where it's like the reflection, sometimes it reflects depending on if the sun's looking at it or if it's not looking at it. And you just get very different pictures when you are going from one position to another position, and then just different positions. It's important that you maintain like a good exposure throughout your whole set, and so when you go back to edit them or look at them, you don't have to adjust like every single one. It's going to be a lot easier to find the ones that you like. If you do have a camera that's battery is not good in the winter, always take your battery out of your camera when you are outside shooting, and put it in your pocket or put it in a coat, put it in like a double layered coat next to your chest, next to somewhere very close to your body, and that will keep your battery more at room temperature, or something where it won't freeze and the battery won't die quicker. That's the easiest way that I've been able to use a battery for longer than it was able to in the winter. But that is the last tip, so hopefully you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I've got a bunch of other videos, winter videos, winter vlogs, winter. I live in Wisconsin, so winter is here. See you guys.